Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome back to the Rainbow Pitch League. We are here for some top four action. On the left, we have Alice playing Prism, represented by a cat. And on the right, we have Leila playing Kayo, represented by Kayo. Of course, I'm joined here by Elaine. Welcome, Elaine.
Hi.
And we are going straight into the action. We are not messing about with sponsors at the moment. We are on turn 0, and here is a Herald of Erudition coming in for 5 with Dominate, with the two cards drawn on hit as well. But we're saying no to that. Here's a uh, agile wind up in red. Just stopping that. We are popping the herald, no damage coming through, and looks like we're just going to the arsenal here. We pitch to pay for the footsteps, mainly just to kind of draw more cards, set up the pitch deck maybe a little bit. We are not arsenaling a card, however. Just drawing 3.
Yeah, this matchup I would imagine a little rough for Prism as Kayo just has all the poppers, endless poppers.
Mm-hmm. For sure. Not as rough as the other brutes per se. Like KO has a lower amount of actual 6 power attacks compared to some of the other brutes because he can get away with 5 powers for the most part. They just don't count as sixes on the combat chain. But this wild ride is in for a wild time, coming in for 6 with go again. Might token being made. And we're getting defended by Celestial Cataclysm. So 3 damage coming through. Not players. Alice down to 29.
Celestial Cataclysm. I see that card and I just think Zeus. Just like
Yeah.
big old Zeus.
It's kind of very reminiscent of that, right? Like big, muscular, god looking thing
Yeah,
in the
like
clouds throwing
is
lightning.
it it's gotta be Zeus.
Yeah.
Say
You got this. You can do it.
Herald of Ravages? Is that Herald of Ravages?
It is Herald of Ravages coming in for 5 arcane damage on hit, plus going to soul, triggering everything we love. But there's another popper. This time it is Swing Big. Defending for 3, but has 8 power. Doesn't believe in heralds, in those illusions. And now we're coming in with a might token on top of this. Attack coming later. There we go. This is an assault and battery. Discarding another swing big. So we're seeing all these poppers being discarded here or used aggressively.
Yeah.
Leila kind of just assuming and hoping that we're going to see more of them at key moments later on anyway.
So
And this is a
yep.
figment of triumph, giving -1 to this attack.
Basically canceling out the might token
Mm-hmm.
for this attack. So it's just going to be coming in for 5. As you said, Layla did beat chest here, making the
Mm-hmm.
agility, discarding, creating the might on the back end, kind of setting up a little bit for next turn. Still pushing through some damage here.
That looks to be 2 figments in the pitch zone. So like the Figment of Triumph isn't a card you ideally want to play in that situation, in the sense that you'd rather save it for a Halo kind of play. If Layla's ever caught blocking with a card that has actual 6 power specifically. But due to the lack of blocking options in Alice's hand that turn, it makes sense that they would just play it there, try to reduce the damage, and kind of stem the bleeding as much as they can with a hand that only blocks for 2 total.
Yep. If you saw the screen just kind of glitched there, there was a frozen issue for a few minutes that I just kind of cut out so we didn't have to spend 2 minutes talking. But Alice just played a Pierce Reality. Back to Layla's turn. CNC with Go again for 7 from Arsenal.
Ah,
It's
this is
kind
Ira Gaming.
Yeah, that's kind of
I mean, Ira never gave it go again, so Kayo doing a better impression of Ira than Ira. I was gonna say those 3 minutes have been a great time to shout out the sponsors, but we could probably power through that real quick right now while they're thinking on blocks. So our sponsors for the top 8, once again, are Premier Card Grading, Fab Foundry, API Source, Iswardi Therianto, Fabric, and TCG TED. Here we're getting the Halo activation. Herald in Soul, we're going to search for a Figment. We're going to draw a card. Just in the order reverse to what I said, we're going to put a counter to remind each player how many resources are floating, and we are searching for the Erudition.
100 token. Um, Gosh, the board stayed so pretty. We talked about it last time, but Alice, they just have all these pretty cards, pretty
They've done a
marbles
great
and
job,
cold
yeah.
foils, and so pretty.
That Goliath Gauntlet kind of lacking, though. We need to work on that. We need to get a cold foil there.
Cold foil there, yeah.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I only have one left, so I can't really sell that one. But here we have the Potter token. And a Tome of Divinity. Oh my goodness. So we're going to draw 3 cards here. Pitching 1
Wow.
card for this. Um, Giving Alice a full grip, potentially to block with, or potentially just to play pressure back, because now this Command and Conquer is close to vanilla, or as close to vanilla as it's going to be, with no arsenal. We even get the Potter token to replace the arsenal at the end of Alice's turn. Fantastic play, fantastic use of the headpiece here, and definitely takes away a bit of the sting of having to play out the Herald of Triumph the turn prior. Not Herald of Triumph, Figment of Triumph, sorry. And we get the edge wind up. We're making another Might token. Combat chain
Got
being
nothing.
cleared. 1 card in hand.
Oh, and a Genesis going down at the end of Layla's turn.
Mm-hmm.
This was feeling like our turn here. I mean,
Fab is a cooperative game, right? We take turns at the same time.
yeah, there's
Um,
so much going on.
Now, the risk of playing the Genesis there, of course, is that Leila does have an action point after that Command and Conquer due to it having go again. So she could have pushed the claws onto it if she had a yellow and wanted to, but she elects to go for the Arsenal there instead. Angelic Wrath getting put into the soul, triggering both sides of the Genesis, and triggering the Vestige, or activating the Vestige for the remainder of the game, where you're transforming a Figment, most likely the Erudition. And this is kind of how Prisms, excuse me, how Prisms get back into the game. Like, they take a whole bunch of damage at the start of the game, go a bit down, but once they get their board state kind of present, then they kind of function on fewer cards almost because they already have cards in play, and they can kind of start getting value from there.
Yeah, this board is yes, shiny and beautiful, but also pretty terrifying.
I assume Alice was explaining why there's 1 resource floating despite pitching a yellow for a 2-cost activation, just signifying that the Genesis triggered the Vestige there. But also, they were just pointing at all the beautiful cards in their deck. So maybe that's what it is, like, yeah,
Yeah, it is
we
a cold
have
foil.
pitched the Arclight Sentinel here, to attack with the Erudition, banishing to draw 2 cards. Arclight Sentinel, usually a pretty powerful card, but the Brute decks have access to Scab Skin and Leathers, which makes it a bit more of a gamble to spend resources to play out that card if your opponent can just attack through it with the claws and continue with their turn anyway on a coin flip.
Yep.
I really need to ask Alice about this cat and why the cat is the hero.
They have the prism. We've seen it.
We've seen the
During
prism.
the top 8 game, we're going to get a scowling flashback block, which is another scary card. However, Alice
Here's an
had the
Arclight
double
Sentinel.
Arclight Sentinel. She's going to respond. Essentially, yeah, kind of wasting the
Nullifying that
effect on
flashback.
that flashback, which is
Yeah,
just another version of a scary hat.
yeah. A scowly hat. I was
A,
thinking
sca-
that.
a scowly
A
hat.
scowly hat. But yeah, so it makes a lot more sense as to why Alice was happy to pitch the first Arclight Sentinel there. Um, Also, they pointed out that they were taking 2 damage, but they had their hand over the top of their Arclight Sentinel, and it looked like they were just bragging about their Arclight Sentinel. Like, yeah, I had 2 of them. But no,
Oh,
it was
it's
2
not
damage
gonna
dealt.
matter. We did get a 5 on the Scabby's rolls, so 2
Hmm.
action points.
2 action points. We have to imagine this claw is going straight into that Arclight Sentinel here. This will use up the Might and Vigor. Not Vigor, Might and Agility token, which is unfortunate for your Leila. But I'm sure she's happy she's not losing her entire turn to this Arclight Sentinel at the very least.
Yeah.
Now, depending on the resources, you could use this as a chance to also attack either the Erudition or the Genesis. Try to slow this roll down a little bit.
This board state is getting a
It's starting to
little
get a
out
bit
of
out of
hand.
hand. Yeah.
Hello? I think Kiki is frozen, but hopefully they will be back to us soon. I am not sure what's going on here. Looks like just probably some players communicating, player activation, and some clarity on something that was done. I imagine we're just going to see a mandible claw into the arc light, followed with hopefully a big attack. Yep, so there's the mandible claw into the arc light, still with 1 floating, and we didn't discard a 6 power, but that did have to go again from the agility. Um, going to discard an agile windup, create a might and an agility. The agility from the agile windup, of course, and the might from Kayo's ability. That is a run roughshod. Like, just gonna clear the Genesis, so not presenting any damage. Oh, we've lost Leila as well. Kiki and a player down. Okay.
I've been
Kiki, are you
back
back?
since the Mandible Claw attack, but you're just doing such a great job. I thought I'd just leave you run through it.
Oh. Okay.
Oh,
Hello, welcome
wow.
back.
I don't know what happened to Layla's screen there, but And yeah.
Chat is
So like I
going.
mentioned before, she did use it as a turn to kind of clear up the important permanents there, choosing to go for the Genesis rather than the Soraya, which is kind of fine considering there's no soul on Alice's part in the first place. Here we have the Herald of Triumph. Can't tell what color that is for 8. So it's the Yellow Herald Triumph with the bonus of the Pierce Reality coming in for 8, reducing the power of attacks blocking this. Gonna make it a little bit more difficult to pop. Not impossible, but a little bit more difficult. And in the meantime, so Layla is contemplating the defenses here. Alice really hoping this kind of hits to start this like soul train to carry on, especially like with this erudition kind of now in threat of being removed now that the problematic Spectra permanents have gone. 2 cards in Alice's hand. We're getting a defense from the Scab Skin Leathers. Defending for 2 currently on this 8. Are we going to get multiple cards in front of this? Alice just pointing out why it's on 8 power. So we're getting 2 pieces of equipment in front of this. This is still only 4. There's still another 4 coming on top of this. And I don't recall there being a blue defense reaction. I don't reckless swing. Oh, there is 2 reckless swing in the deck list, so
Uh,
this could be a reckless swing.
there is. Yep.
Oh, we're thinking about something else. We might just put 2 cards in front of this anyway. Not reckless swinging this. Reckless swing would be kind of neat. The 2 damage would destroy the angel at the same time. Um,
Interesting. Very clear we don't have a popper for
very
this
much so. It's very
situation.
difficult. And we have 2 Bloodrush Bellows instead.
Ooh. Not what you want to see for Layla, but I'm sure Alice
Well,
is happy to see 2 blood rush
Alice is
fellows
absolutely
gone.
thrilled. I'm sure there was a consideration on Layla's part to just take that damage and then kind of crack the sash. But of course, that plays awfully into a Arclight Sentinel, which we have seen before. I've seen 2 copies of it, one being played, one being pitched, but the deck gets shuffled. And that's a second Pierce reality.
Oh, we're doing this again.
We're doing Command and Conquer for 7 with Go again. But looks like there are no cards available to Leila. So this is just 7 Destroy Arsenal. And we're getting the 7 damage prevented there. We say goodbye to Soraya, who won't be able to draw cards anyway. There's no soul. But the first Herald each turn is absolutely massive now. I'm sure
Yeah.
Alice would have loved to have that Passing Mirage in play and not defending. But Herald of Triumph would be pretty big at this point. Oh, there was another card in hand to pitch, and we're getting rid of one of the Passing Mirages as kind of like a safety measure, just making sure, playing really conservatively, I guess, protecting that large life total lead, knowing that Prism can kind of come back at any point. Just keeping that life total high so that should Leila come into a high power turn that maybe closes the game out, she can afford to take some damage back.
Gosh.
Elaine's
Sorry.
currently dealing with a cat. Um,
Yeah, my my cat. I've been trying to settle him for the past few minutes. Um. Anyway, thank you. You did a great job, Kiki.
the cat is very invested. He was staring at the screen just before, and he looks very cute. Oh, the cat is now attacking Elaine in the same way that Alice is attacking Leila for 7, boosted by a Pierce reality. And now we're getting the defensive block. Defensive blocks as if there's offensive ones. We're getting the defending with the equipment. So both the Apex Bonebreaker and the Savage Sash defending for 4 total, plus the 3 from the Pack Hunt. We're getting the trigger on the Apex Bonebreaker. Alice pointing out that this attack gets -1, but it's still getting defended for 7 nonetheless. Oh, no, we're not getting the
uh,
Apex Bonebreaker trigger. That's what Alice is pointing out. That's something I missed.
uh, Ew.
Uh, yeah.
Bit unfortunate.
And here we have the Herald of Protection that looks like a blue coming in for 5. Spectral Shield on hit. Layla's still with 3 cards in hand. Combat Chain was not broken. We can't use these equipments again to block. And now we think.
Stop.
Monococker popping the protection, 2 cards in hand still for Leila. Going to be able to come in with some damage this turn, maybe. Or we could see something like a pitch to the close, hit the Pierce Reality, Arsenal a card. Kind of set back Alice quite a bit here. Just because, they have no soul at the moment. They have one figment that they can't transform without soul. And by stopping the Pierce Reality, you stop any damage bonuses on any future Herald of Triumphs. And you get an Arsenal. Try to set up for a big turn as well. We've already seen 2 of the... No, we're not even attacking the Pierce Reality.
We're just we're just gonna see an Arsenal and
Must have been 2
pass.
reds.
Merciful Retribution.
So Merciful Retribution, super powerful in this matchup. There's so many Heralds being popped. And you're kind of okay with your opponent and just straight up attacking this turn. You get a soul from it. You get an arcane damage from it. And interestingly, it kind of stops the loop if that's the route Alice is eventually planning to go on. Just because any sort of auras that get popped, if they're light, to go to soul.
We do discard a Bear Paint. Create a Might off of Kayo's ability. And this Wild Ride is coming in with Go again. Celestial Catechism. Gonna take some damage. Go to 14.
Alice choosing to throw Zeus in front of this pig riding orc. And here we have the Mandible Claw, also a Gogan attack. We have pitched a blue. That could be a run roughshod.
Yeah, still 2 floating. Alice is not concerned about the Mandible Claw. Taking 3, go to 11.
And Leila now deciding if we're coming in with another attack or not. We do have a card in hand to pitch. Oh, do we? No. We have a card in arsenal to play, rather.
No.
There was a card in hand. Okay, so this is a weakest link, so we're deciding which of the 2 we wanted to play, and that's coming at the Merciful Retribution, not Alice's life total. So we've got 1 soul now, we're dealing 1 point of arcane damage, and like I said, if you're Alice, you're kind of okay with it. You just need the soul to start getting back on this prism kind of snowball, I guess. Like, your board was reset, and it takes a lot more to build up a prism board compared to, say, like an Enigma.
Yeah.
But to start things off,
This is a
it
War
is
Tune
indeed.
hero.
And it's getting +2. It is a yellow, so it's coming in for 6 +2 rather, because of that Pierce Reality. Do we have the popper? Yes, we do. That is a Clash of Might?
Might. Clash of Might. Which is a 6 power attack.
I was about to ask if the game is frozen, but it is for Leila.
Leila is a little frozen.
Just a little bit.
And Leila is a little gone again. And
Leila's a
Leila
little
is
small
back.
right now.
So, yeah.
And a little off center. Oh.
Okay, Alice is still just doing everything.
Okay, so we are getting the clash here.
Clashing.
Alice just showing that it was a blue, so 5 power. We get the Might token from the clash. We're paid for the footsteps, and here we have Herald of Ravages coming in for 5+1 arcane damage. And here's a swing big.
Another popper.
So swing big's quite a valuable card at this point. Like, it comes in for quite a lot. We see some headphones in play. Yes, it comes in for quite a lot of damage. Ideally, you don't really want to defend with that card. The Illusionist class, Prism specifically, doesn't really take advantage of that Quicken token as much as other decks do, because the Luminaris gives go again to everything anyway. So you really love to have that card as an offensive weapon, which makes me wonder if Leila is stuck. Not stuck necessarily, but only has like 5 powers in hand rather than 6 powers to pop that. Yeah, there we go. There's a Bear Fangs and a blue. So neither of those are poppers in this scenario. The Bear Fangs, however, does get +2 from its own effect, drawing and discarding, and gets 2 from the Might tokens. So this is a yellow card coming in for 9. Just a 2-card 9 off a yellow. And you still get a Might token as well.
Yeah.
Ridiculous value. Alice choosing not to block going down to 2. That's like roughly 18% of the life total. Took about 72% at a guess. An estimate. And we have Herald Triumph Blue coming in for 7. That Pierce Reality still doing work here, but it's going to have to do a lot of work. We're looking at a 33-2 life total lead in favor of Leila.
Yeah, 33-2. I mean, I've seen Prisms
Mm-hmm.
come back from it.
It's definitely within the realms of possibility, but it's not ideal. Getting some equipment blocks.
Like we're gonna get.
And we're getting a clash as well. And there we go. 6 is bigger than 0. We have a second Might token coming into play. Fully defending out this Herald of Tenacity. Make sure it doesn't go to Soul. Really not wanting that Figment of Tenacity to transform and come in to reduce the attack damage as well. But here we have the red Tenacity coming in for 7. Just kind of presenting these awkward split numbers.
Yeah, these breakpoint numbers.
Mm-hmm. Now, if you're Layla in this position, you can probably afford to maybe take this damage, keep 2 cards plus your arsenal in hand to start applying pressure back. Alice doesn't have the resources to transform that Figment in their own turn. And you can really start forcing the Prism player to just either have blocks in hand or just take lethal damage at this point. Not super
Yeah.
important if they get the soul now at this point. It's kind of too late almost. But we're considering a block anyway. Leila, once again, playing conservatively, as she has been doing all games, just really making sure that the life total is high, just in case Alice manages to start coming back into this game.
It doesn't really trust the Alice as the prison player here, which I understand. I get spooked sitting on the other side of an illusionist and like I just try and keep the life total as high as possible. I don't know what kind of tricks they have up their
I was
sleeve.
gonna say, how do you not trust a prison player? We've been working together for like over
I
a year
don't.
now. But then I realized you mean in the context of the game and not just like them
Not
as a person.
yeah, in the no. Nothing against prison places first. Nothing about people. I just mean as a in the
Yeah, okay.
context of the game. Yeah,
I nearly took offense.
like any minute here, I could be sucked into an arc like blue, but I just will never see it coming. I just don't trust it.
If you get sucked into an Arclight loop, your life total does not matter.
Yeah, but it's scary and it's frustrating.
Well, at least the prison player doesn't have a scary little hat. They have a nice glowy halo.
I don't know that Hap put in a lot of work
Yeah, true.
this game.
The halo was pretty big at drawing a bunch of resources. And this has hit. We are getting a Figment. Trying to think of which ones are remaining. There's the arcane damage one. There's protection, I think. Yeah, there we go. And judgment, which doesn't do anything in this game. But Layla still managed to keep a card in hand plus a card in arsenal plus 2 might tokens. We could be seeing a 2-card 8, a 2-card 9 depending if it's like a Bare Fangs or whatever. 2 card 10 even. If it's Bare Fangs red, plus the might token you get from that 2 card 11. Kayo has scary numbers.
It is pretty scary numbers, yeah. With these double might tokens, and then every time
And there
we'll
we go.
see a might token generation. Yep, on the back
So
end
here we
again.
go. 2 cards, 10 damage, plus a might token for the next turn. This is going to demand cards from Alice. We could see a Figment flip. We could see some cards in hand defending. We need to stop 8 damage this turn. We could see the Vestige thrown here as well, so you can do something like pitch to transform a Figment, throw the Vestige, throw a card in hand. We could just throw these no blocks in hand. This is the game? This is lethal? Yeah,
This
looks
is
like it.
lethal.
Oh, there's
Yeah.
Arclight Sentinel as well, being unable to be defended with. So, how much time do we have for the outro? Oh, quite a lot. Okay.
We have 47 minutes.
So we can
Yeah.
talk about this game a little bit. Fantastic
Great.
job by Alice to get into the top 8. Top 4 even,
Top
yeah.
4.
And congratulations to Leila for making the finals of our Rainbow Pitch League. Um, Super fantastic effort. Not the heroes I expected to see in the top 8 with Azalea and Kayo. Azalea I kind of expected. She's pretty powerful, especially in this league that we've seen. Not too many Zens, but also Azalea is good into Zen, which is probably why we haven't seen any there. With that being said, we are approaching the end of the time for this round. So thank you very much for joining us here in the Rainbow Pitch League Season 2. We will see you in the finals.
In the finals. Yeah. Bye.